Now coming to the peritoneum part. Now this is the inside of the abdominal part, abdominal wall part. So we just studied one point over here, that just try to revise it again what we just studied. This is your obliterated umbilical artery and it is forming your medial umbilical ligament. That coming from the apex of the urinary bladder, this forms your median umbilical ligament, that is the urachus. That is the urachus. The urachus from the apex of the urinary bladder forms the median umbilical ligament. So median is single, you will have two medial over here and over here, and then you have the inferior epigastric artery. Now the peritoneum around it makes a fold, so there is a peritoneal fold around the inferior epigastric artery, and that is called as a lateral umbilical ligament. Lateral umbilical ligament. So this is the location of umbilicus. This is the location of umbilicus over here. So you have 5 infraumbilical ligaments. In this figure it is shown you have 5 infraumbilical ligaments. 1 is median, 2 are medial, 2 are lateral. 5. Now there is one supraumbilical ligament. One supraumbilical ligament. That is your falciform ligament going from the umbilicus and attaching to the anterior surface of the liver. This is your one supraumbilical ligament. When do you see all these? See, when you have cut the abdominal wall and you reflect the abdominal wall, then this is what you see from inside, from the posterior surface of the abdominal wall. Then you see all these ligaments. 5 are going from below towards umbilicus. 1 is coming from above umbilicus, the supraumbilical one, and 5 infraumbilical ligaments. So finally, moving from here, let's do some basics of peritoneum. Peritoneum, what is peritoneum? Let's do some basics of peritoneum. Be it peritoneum, be it pleura, be it pericardium, they are all coelomic cavities. Coelomic cavities. Now let's understand it is a simple example of, let's take a balloon, a simple example of balloon. Now if there is a balloon situated in front of you which is partially filled with air, and you try to insert your hand into it, with the force, and balloon over here is partially filled with air. So after a while you will be able to insert your hand inside it, and the balloon will be covering your hand like this, This example shows that this hand over here is the viscera or the visceral organ, and this balloon is your coelomic cavity. So after you insert your hand, after the visceral organ inserts inside, then this layer which is covering your, in touch with your hand, is your visceral peritoneum in this case. You can apply the same example in pleura and pericardium, and this on the outside is the parietal layer of peritoneum. So there are a couple of things to note over here, that both of these visceral and parietal layer, they are continuous at the root or hilum of the organ. So they are continuous at this area. They are one layer only, they are continuous. Only the difference is one is in touch with the viscera, other is in touch with the parietal. Parietal means the wall. So this is the outside the parietal we have the wall. Over here we were studying the abdominal wall. And between this parietal and visceral layers, this green color over here shows you this is the area of peritoneal cavity. Same thing without a doubt you can apply in pleura or pericardium. Both have the parietal and visceral pleura, parietal and visceral pericardium with a cavity inside it, the pleural cavity, pericardial cavity, and here it is the peritoneal cavity. Clear? So these were the parietal and the visceral layers. How are they formed? Now the second thing is, now we know that okay, peritoneum is formed, but peritoneum, why do we have this peritoneum? The reason we have this peritoneum is because it has to reduce the friction. Why it has to reduce the friction? Because every time we eat or drink anything, our intestine, our gut, it undergoes peristalsis. So all the time it is moving, So you need to have some smooth surface where they can easily move without without rubbing against each other. Same when we inspire, every time the lungs expand, then they contract. So they move, they need a smooth surface around them. Same, heart is all the time going in the systole, diastole. So these areas in our body, they are under constant movement without our control. They are autonomically controlled by parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. So the creator has already made a system so that the movement is unhindered, it goes smoothly. Clear? This is why we have peritoneum. Now let's look at this figure below and understand the parts of peritoneum more clearly. So this particular figure over here shows the sagittal section through the abdominal cavity, showing the various layers. So this is a sagittal section. Fine. Left side of your screen is the anterior aspect, right is the posterior aspect. The organs which you are able to see over here, this is the liver, this is the stomach, this is the transverse colon, the gut, the sigmoid colon, and so structures. The point to show in this figure is that the area which is covered by this green colored structure is your generalized peritoneal cavity. This is known as greater sac. So one is our greater sac, that is the generalized peritoneal cavity. So once you cut the abdominal wall, you open the abdominal wall, and what you see are the organs and the omentums and all those things inside. So the space between the abdominal wall and the organs and the omentums which you see, that space is your greater sac. That space is your greater sac. If you make it with this highlighted color, this is whole your greater sac. This is all your greater sac. Fine. Now that area that is being shown with the blue color, that is behind the stomach. This blue color area is your lesser sac. So this area over here is your lesser sac. Now the thing is, the lesser sac, the position is, it is just behind the stomach. The other thing is, you can see this lesser sac is going below also, but over here, this area over here is actually fused. This area of the greater omentum is actually fused to each other. Yeah, so lesser sac is mainly confined to the area behind the stomach. So all this greater sac and lesser sac, they are peritoneal cavities. The main peritoneal cavity is the greater sac, and the one smaller one behind the stomach is the lesser sac. Now come to the stomach. Now, as we make a stomach, we have this esophagus, then we have this fundus part, this greater curvature, the lesser curvature, and duodenum, and so on. So the omentums are actually the double layered fold of peritoneums. We'll see that also. So that peritoneal fold which is attached to the lesser curvature is known as lesser omentum. And that which is attached to the greater curvature is known as greater omentum. So wherever you see and read the words omentum or ligaments, not just omentum but also ligaments, omentum or ligaments, they are nothing but they are just the double layered fold of peritoneums. That's it. Coming back again to this figure, now let's see the other things. What we can see in this figure. Now we have seen some organs over here. I'll try to highlight it. Let's take this transverse colon. Now this transverse colon is attached posteriorly through a mesocolon. Look at this mesocolon, double layered. This gut is attached posteriorly through the mesentery. Look, it is double layered. Look at sigmoid colon attached by the double layered. So all these double layered are your ligaments, are your folds of peritoneum. And look at the one which is coming from the greater curvature of the stomach, shown here below, double layered. What is name? Name is greater omentum. One from the lesser curvature over a double layered, what is its name? Lesser omentum. So be it omentum, be it ligaments, be it mesocolon, this and that, whatever it is, they are all but double layered fold of peritoneums. Remember, double layered was again the same example of the balloon, and this was your organ inside it. Look over here, this is your double layered. So where the folds take place, where the visceral peritoneum is now attached to the parietal peritoneum, we call it as omentum or ligaments. In these examples, they are very clear. Look over here once again. The peritoneum shown over here, this one is your visceral V. Now this peritoneum, black color over here, this is your parietal P. Now this mesentery, which is double layered, is connecting visceral to peritoneum. So in fact they are a continuous layer, they are not different. You can see the mesentery. But the one which is attached to the wall, we call it parietal. One which is attached to the viscera, we call it visceral peritoneum. Clear? Now we understand this with another simplified figure that will clear all your doubts if at all they are present.